Good afternoon and welcome to Muskegon Rotary. My name is Tim Arter and I have the pleasure of serving as your president this year. Today's program will be, quote, 4 for 5, a program featuring 4 Rotarians, each of whom will be talking about coping in these challenging times. We will begin with the Pledge of Allegiance, followed by a reflection from Bill Locksterman, and we will recite the 4-way test at the end of the meeting. So at this time, let's say the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Boy, what a somber group. I've kind of mixed a couple of themes into my reflection, so bear with me. It's rather obvious that we're a divided nation. A lot of talk about that these days. My background includes a degree in journalism, so I've often paid attention to words and phrases over the years, and I've noticed that there's a lot of trigger words and trigger phrases that seem to be able to stoke a lot of fear and uncertainty in us. A couple of words, apoplectic, when that's used, overcome with anger, threat to democracy, intolerant, lack of civil discourse. Most of these have a negative connotation. So it's no mystery either that anger and outright hatred have made their way into many news stories. It's hard to know what to believe anymore, at least in my opinion. Perhaps we ought to consider one of Thomas Jefferson's rules for living that includes the Stoic belief that anger is one of the most dangerous, unhealthy passions. For sure, in my opinion, nonstop expressions of anger and hatred destroys any possibility of meaningful dialogue between parties of differing opinions. In less than 24 hours, a volunteer group of Muskegon Rotarians will participate in a Braver Angels workshop with the purpose of sharing ideas on how folks of varying and diverse political persuasion can conduct meaningful discussion. I fully anticipate that the qualities of grace and dignity encompassed in the Rotarians with whom I'm familiar is going to lead to satisfactory results for all participants. Now, here's hoping that we will keep in mind one of the first important things I learned in the study of public administration. Beware of simple solutions to complex issues. Let us also embrace another of Thomas Jefferson's words of wisdom. How much pain the evils have cost us that never happened. As well, we might benefit from a passage in last week's Chronicle opinion article, written by a buddy of mine, by the way, with the Cleveland Plain Dealer. The article was entitled "Seeking Serenity in the Age of Trump." And it begins with, take a deep breath. It's not as bad as some fear, nor as good as some claim. And above all, choose your words carefully.
Thank you, Bill. To bring your attention to, we're going to be passing the Pours for Community collection box. And I would appreciate it if you consider making a contribution. And if you desire a QR code, there's one attached. So we'll get back to you in a few minutes. So enjoy your lunch. There's one there, Randy. At this time, so Rotarians with guests and any visiting Rotarians, please come forward for introductions.
I'll go first. What the hell? I'll go first. Yeah. Thank you, Dr. Strike. Josh, come on over. All right. Good afternoon, everyone. Roger Morgenstern. I have with me my guest and a soon-to-be member of Rotary, Josh Carafa from, help me, Silver Lining Construction, right? Yeah, Structures. Yeah. So welcome, Josh.
Good afternoon, everybody. Jim Fisher, and I am very pleased to introduce to many of you, but not all of you, because some of you know Dewana Thompson. And Dewana is the Director of EEO and Employee Relations for the City of Muskegon, and she will shortly submit her application. She's been to orientation, will be a new member of Muskegon Rotary Club.
Hi, Nancy McCarthy here. I have with me today my better half, former Rotarian and Paul Harris Fellow, Ed Hunt.
Good afternoon, Darwin Smith. This is Dr. Nicole Bradford. She just does Divine Healthcare. She's a general practitioner in anesthetics. She's practicing in Muskegon, right across from Myers. She's sick with new patients and born and raised in Muskegon County, and she's ready to be a Rotary member.
Very good. We had a cancellation from the Mona Shores students and guests today. They had something that came up, so they're going to, I believe, going to be back on May the 2nd. At this time, I will introduce Melissa Horton to come forward to introduce the program.
Hi, everyone. So every once in a while with the program committee, we have a little scheduling snafu, and so a program falls through, and what we choose to do is to bring up some of our own and hear from them. And so today, what we're going to do is have 4 Rotarians talk for 5 minutes, and with spring approaching and all the sudden change happening, we decided to talk about positivity. Life often throws us challenges our way, unexpected obstacles, moments of doubt, and difficult environments that test our strength. But in those very moments, we have the opportunity to rise, adapt, and thrive. History and nature, 2 of my favorite things, shows itself that the strongest, most remarkable things don't grow in perfect conditions. Today, we're here to talk about not just surviving, but thriving, about turning setbacks into comebacks, struggles into strengths, and challenges into opportunities. So let me introduce 4 Rotarians who will give us their thoughts and insights. Dave Alexander is the president-elect of Muskegon Rotary Club. He is retired from Muskegon Chronicle MLive, where he was the business and local government reporter, editor, and the City of Muskegon, where he was the downtown manager and worked on community engagement. Karen Buey is the Muskegon County Clerk and was recently just reelected. She is now in her 8th year of being County Clerk. She is very dedicated to the community and last year received a national award for providing free birth certificates to the homeless and the disenfranchised population. Jeff Fortenbacher has led Access Health for over 25 years. He has a background as a psychologist working with community mental health. Jeff's organization links local citizens to services and support regarding healthcare and working with behavioral changes to improve members' health. And Bill Erickson is the gift officer at the Muskegon Rescue Mission, which is one of the oldest ministries in West Michigan. They have multiple locations and provide food, shelter, clothing, and spiritual direction to those in need. So please join me in welcoming our 4 presenters.
I'll go first. Are we on? Good afternoon. When Dave called me and said, Bill, could you speak on a certain topic of your choosing to the club? I said, do you even know me? Of course, I could speak for hours on end on any topic. with or without information. But when he asked me to choose the topic, the first thing that immediately came to my mind, when I think about something inspiring, think about something about this group that's encouraging to me, first word that popped in my head, it wasn't by accident, that word was generosity. When I look over this crowd, all the sea of faces, when I think about this club, the first word that comes to my mind is generosity. I've worked in the nonprofit sector in development for over 20 years. I worked with donors from every level you can imagine, face to face. And I think that makes me a bit of an authority on what generosity looks like. And when I think of this particular club, I think of all the grants that Muskegon Rotary has given to all the local nonprofits, grants anywhere from $15,000 to $20,000. And for small nonprofits, that's a big deal. So give yourselves a round of applause for that. So the Muskegon Rotary Foundation is very generous, but that money comes from you. Whether it's Paul Harris, or whether it's $2 at the raffle, whether it's joining the poor's community, there's a little box over here that's been passed around. The generosity that I'm thinking of for this club, it comes from you. For the club itself, the club is greater than the sum of all of its parts, or not greater than the sum of all its parts. It's you folks that make it, well, I'll call real to me. Because when I come in the door, I know I'm going to be talking to people, they're going to be chatting it up, you're going to be socializing, but then again, the people I talk to, all of you, you're generous with your time, your talent, and your treasure. I know somebody in this room who put $2 in the bucket over there, and she won't even be here for the raffle. She just wants to support. And so I see people coming in, and I see them giving of themselves by volunteering. I see them giving of their time, just being here. But not just being here, but being at parties in the park, being at the Poors for Community, being at food trucks. So you give of your time, you give of your talents. I know some of you are accountant-type people, you're good with numbers, and you share with the club on that. Some of you are good at event planning, and you share with the club on that. So your time, your talents, and your treasure. And I just think this is a part of a community I want to be a part of. And thank you for all you do for this club. Amen? Amen.
Okay, thank you. Jeff Fortmacher, and again, I'm going to go down a little bit different path too, but I'm a psychologist by my roots, and people may know me from way back when I was actually working in a role as a psychologist for about 12 years. And then again, been with Access Health for about, actually it's going to start my 26th year in June here. Pretty good for a program that people mainly were kind of betting on us being there about a year. So we just did our 25th year celebration, and we definitely have evolved. So again, a key thing that I want to bring up too is just a lot of what we center around within Access Health, we've broadened the definition of health in this, and to really look at what we call building health integrity. And that integrity is, like I said, that strength or whatever that we all get through our experiences, through our kind of growing up. And so we've organized those into what I call domains of health. And I think when we typically say the word health, people are like, well, it's physical health. And again, God knows we put a lot of money into physical health. And overall, as a country and as communities, we haven't got a lot healthier. And then we have our what I call our mental emotional health, key component. But I think today what I'm asking is people to look at, and even as we cope and as we interact with people in the community and outside of our community, is there's like 8 domains of health that we've termed. Definitely physical health, emotional health, but people have financial health, and everything is kind of integrated into it. And interacts together. And if we have stressors in specific areas, it typically comes out and can come out in physical health issues. It can come out in emotional health issues. It can come out in financial health. One of the other domains is family social health. Again, the individuals that we were just talking about here is to have a social health and a support system and individuals that we can have access to and be around that add to overall who we are as human beings. And then we have our spiritual health, which is, like I said, is how people, again, define their own spirituality, but definitely we need it. We need to be able to look at, especially in times of kind of crisis or high stress, some of those things we got to turn over to a higher power, whoever that is for you, but it's very important. And then we have environmental health, and we know that. I mean, people living in the community, and then also our occupational health. And so my one word on that is when we interact with people, we need to see the whole person, and we need to understand that all these things are at interplay. And even now in times, whatever, we're at a point of where I would say we're overly bombarded by a lot of noise, a lot of different things that's happening out there. We have multiple things coming through our iPhones and through different phones or whatever, different ways of communication that are putting us on our information overload. And I really think, again, when we step back and as we start to look at and work with individuals, we really need to understand, like I said, one of my things is meet the person where they're at. Not just go in there with your own preconceived or your assumptions or things that you've been programmed in or things that have happened to you during that day, but really take the time to listen to them. Kind of last thing here, this is, it's not going to be as good as the Bob Skolnick joke, but there's a couple and the wife yells out to the husband and says, hey, can you run to the store and get me a loaf of bread? And he goes, yeah, I can do that. On his way out, she goes, oh, she says, if they have eggs, get a dozen. He goes, okay. So he leaves, comes back, and he sets 12 loaves of bread on the table. And she goes, why'd you get 12 loaves? She goes, well, he said if they had eggs, get a dozen. I thought that's kind of a But I think that speaks to the fact that, like I said, I think we hear people. I think we really need to step back and listen to people and meet them where they're at.
Okay, Dave and I are going to be a little bit different. So, Mike, I know you're going to have a fit. You got to change that camera. Good afternoon, family. And I prayed about what I was going to share with you today because I wanted to share words that would be encouraging and thought-provoking because I'm so shy and introverted. As I reflected on the current climate in our nation right now and the uncertainty of the wars throughout the world, we need unity through common goals. What gives America its strength? Some point to our military power, so others mention our economic might, but America's real power comes from our people. Americans have passed many tests throughout history. Money trouble, national disasters, global fights, and each time we grew stronger, more resilient, and the resilience runs deep in who we are. Dreamers and doers from every part of the globe built this nation. People brought their hopes and their dreams and their traditions and determination here. Each group of newcomers has added unique strengths to our national character. Look at our own community, the local diner where 3 generations serve family recipes, the corner store owner who greets every customer individually by their names, the teachers who spend extra hours helping students learn English while mastering mathematics. These everyday heroes strengthen our democracy. They show that our differences make us better and we succeed by working together, learning from each other, and respecting every voice. We all deserve good health care, strong educational opportunities to maximize our full human potential. This country was founded on godly principles. Just look at our Constitution. Yes, we face tests, we disagree sometimes, but Americans will always find a way to heal splits and keep moving ahead. Under our surface differences, we share basic values: freedom, justice, opportunities, the belief that we can make tomorrow better. Let's honor what joins us together. Let's see how our variety gives us power. Let's create an America where everyone belongs and everyone succeeds. Thank you.
I don't know if I'm worthy for the next one here. But let me give you a media view, sort of where I'm coming from. As Bill said, we're both journalism folks. Experts and social commentators tell us that's children, young adults, all the way to senior citizens, are feeling a disconnect, a separation, an anxiety, and a divide. Many of us know what they're talking about. But the good news is that the Muskegon Rotary Club is one of the greatest anecdotes for helping us cure our ills. Let me explain. When civic discourse was becoming too much for me, I sought out sports as my place of refuge instead of news. That being a news junkie, both in personality and profession, I couldn't go cold turkey. I found an independent voice on SiriusXM Radio's independent talk channel. I've become a huge fan of Michael Smerconish. If you don't have XM Radio, you can find him on Saturday mornings on CNN. Smerconish is a smart storyteller who is passionate about seeing American life from the middle, which is what he argues where most of us are at. Growing up a suburban kid in Bucks County, Pennsylvania, outside of Philly, he graduated from Lehigh University and got a law degree from Penn. He started out as an attorney in a large Philly law firm, but was then drawn to talk radio. For decades, he was a leading voice on Philly radio station and became known nationally on various cable networks. But it is not his political analysis or commentary that has drawn me to his 3-hour day show on XM, featuring great guests and listeners calling in from across the country and across the spectrum of opinion. It is his keen social analysis. He had a front row seat for the 3 decades on the growing polarization now gripping our country. His analysis is that current climate is part of a much broader disconnect in society, fueled by the technology of the smartphone, social media platforms, along with what he calls, and several social scientists call, self-sorting of who we associate with and even where we live. All told, it isn't having a healthy outcome on many of us, but most importantly, he argues, it's the key cause of the mental health crisis among our youth, especially post-pandemic. So, what do we have to do with all of this? We're doing it right here, where you sit, at the Muskegon Rotary Club. We mingle. Smerconish has put together his Mingle Project, encouraging all of us to get out of our houses, off our computers, and into our communities. Put the phones down. Be it a bowling league, a house of worship, a sporting event, musical production, volunteering at a food pantry, going to a lecture, or joining a civic organization. In all of these situations, we likely in Muskegon will mingle and get to know someone with a different point of view and life experience. That leads to understanding and the closing, hopefully, of our divides. Rotary does that for us. Most importantly, we should also want the same for our children and grandchildren. That is what makes our club's youth leadership development programs so important at this point in time. Think mingle when you consider the Life Leadership Conference, inbound and outbound student exchange, Rotaract, Interact, and now Early Act. What a difference we are making in our community. Smerkanish's Mingle project started out as segments on his radio program and then became a tab on his website, smerkanish.com. A year and a half ago, he took his Mingle project message on the road, speaking in communities across the United States. That led to one of those being filmed in Ashland, North Carolina in September of 2024. It has become the Mingle movie and it's offered this past month for free on his website and his YouTube channel. Check it out. It's about an hour and 10 minutes. It's very entertaining. Smerkanish points to his parents and his parents' generation as inspiration and models of how to mingle. His mother, Florence, was a member of the Village Improvement Association in their hometown in Doylestown, Pennsylvania, and his father, Walter, close to my heart, because that was my dad's name, was a high school and college football official, something also close to my heart. They were both members of the local Moose Lodge. But most importantly, Walter Smerkanish was a member of the Doylestown Rotary Club. Fellow Rotarians, please keep mingling. It is so very important.
You want questions?
We have no Q&A.
Okay.
But if there's anyone here that would like to react to
We have some extra minutes if you any of you want to react to each other.
See, thank God I didn't follow her.
Okay, well, I am always amazed when we do this, and thank you to our program chairs, Melissa and Dave, in coming up with this concept. Oftentimes when this occurs, we come up with great programs, and this certainly was one today. So let's give them a round of applause. Okay, Mike, we want to pass along the birthday slide. Relatively short list today. We'll be featuring Tim Lipan a little bit later, but Tim Lipan, Steve Edwards, Tara Foreman, and Alan Alpert, their birthdays are there, and since we have at least one of them here today, we're going to sing Happy Birthday. So with that, happy birthday to you, happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, happy birthday, happy birthday to you. As we say weekly, we welcome gifts to the Caring Connection by those who have birthdays this given week, but you're always welcome to make a contribution, and it goes to help and to help our fellow members in a variety of situations. So please consider that. And now for Tim Lipan, once again, we're going to do our Rotarians in Action. We're going to talk about networking and the things that we're doing to make that happen within our club.
My name is Tim Lipan, and I'm the chairman of the Rotary Social Committee. Our three philosophies for the Social Committee are to develop events for Rotarians outside of the regular meetings. Number two is to showcase local business and organizations. And then ultimately to hold a variety of events that will appeal or engage a wide audience. Typically what we do is run these events from 5:30 to about 7 p.m. We try to provide some light snacks and some beverages, even adult beverages if they're allowed. And then it just gives us an hour and a half to, one, learn a little bit about the folks we're coming to visit, whether it's a new business or an organization, and also just socialize and network, which in our most recent survey of members, one of the most important things they felt about Rotary was the networking possibilities. Now, the regular Thursday meetings give you a little bit of time to do that, but coming to a social event, you got an hour and a half to work the room, if you will, and network with fellow Rotarians. We are working on trying to visit that Hackley Administration Building while it's still historic before it turns into a high-end hotel. We'll see how that works out. We are going to do another Clipper game, which is frankly our most successful event because it allows for a lot more people to come. And we're working on visiting the Muskegon Area Career Tech Center and learning a lot about that. And then finally, we're talking about developing a tour of the wastewater treatment plant, the solar farm, and everything that's going on out there. So some very interesting things coming up, as well as being able to showcase local business and nonprofits.
Thank you, Tim. And just a word of mention, Randy Lindquist was our host at the Career Tech Center this week. How many people were able to attend that? That's a great number. I was particularly pleased. That was my first visit. I was really amazed at how large that facility is and the vast variety of programs that they have going on. So if you haven't had a chance to go out there, if you do have one come forward, then please to give that some thought to visit that. It was a great program. So thank you, Randy. As far as announcements, I have a few people that are going to make some announcements, but while they're coming up, there's a rewind meeting tonight starting at 5:15. Importantly, please know that it will be at the Core Plaza in the vault area. So don't go to Unruly. You certainly can go to Unruly tonight, but rewind won't be there. So.
All right. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Brad Hastings, and I'm representing the Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Committee today. I also am the Systems Advocacy Manager at Disability Network West Michigan. I'm here to remind you that a coalition of disability service organizations is hosting a showing of the Netflix film Crip Camp. We're doing this at the Frauenthal on Tuesday, April 15th. We're going to have a reception at 5:30 that will have some free hors d'oeuvres, open cash bar. There will be some nonprofit exhibitors. And then we're going to show the film, which chronicles a summer camp experience of kids with disabilities in the 60s and 70s, and then kind of goes into the disability civil rights movement that sprang from that experience. Goes from kind of the Rehabilitation Act of 1973 up until the ADA in 1990. So, and then following the film, we're going to have a panel of local disability community members, and we're going to talk about their lived experience as people with disabilities and how we can make Muskegon an inclusive and accessible community for all. So please join us for that. It should be a powerful evening. The film is great. If you want to preview it, you can. It's available on Netflix, but you should come to the showing and hang out with us as well. Thank you.
We're zipper merging today for the announcements. I am here on behalf of the Poors for Community Committee, and I think that Dave and Tim and Bill set me up pretty nicely, speaking of mingling and generosity. Social Committee. Poors for Community, Poors for Community is in its fourth year. It started as Poors for Polio and it morphed into Poors for Community. And really it's a time to get together outside of the lunch hour visit local establishments who also give back to the event, and then all funds raised go to our Rotary Foundation, which in turn is then distributed to organizations in our community. Last year, we netted just over $8,000, I think, for the event that went back to the Rotary Foundation. So thank you to all of you for your sponsorships, for your donations that you dropped in the bucket, and for coming and attending pours. Bring your friends, bring your family. It's not just for our Rotary members. It's an opportunity to come and have conversations with others. There's a sheet on your table that has all of the dates and a QR code if anyone's interested in donating, but I'll just share it. Starts about a month from now. The first event is on Thursday, April 17th, and the last event in the series is on Tuesday, May 6th. We do have 2 new establishments this year, the Community House, Coffee House, and Social. There will be 2 times that day, and it will be, I think it's partnered with a new member social also, but it's an opportunity for coffee and connection there, and then Muskegon Brewing Company also. So again, the times, the locations, the QR code are on your table. I'm sure things will be in the rim, and I'm sure we'll also remind you in the coming weeks. So I think the posters and whatnot are going to print very soon. So if there's anyone that wants to get in on a last minute sponsorship, we can also help you with that. Thanks.
Good afternoon, everyone. Tom Palmer here. I head the Engagement Connection Committee, which goes everywhere from onboarding and orientation all the way through the new members, through the socials, and I want to talk about Caring Connection today a little bit. I want to thank Susan for putting it in the rim. And Caring Connection is a program, it's just about us being a community, mingling when someone has an issue. So if anyone has a health challenge, loses a loved one, or good stuff too, if you have a promotion at work or something we can celebrate, it's very simple. We just have 5 or 6 members of the committee, and we just send a nice card, congratulations, get well. And it sounds like a small thing, but when you're struggling in something, even a card from your club that says, hey, we're thinking about you and we want to help you out, makes a huge difference. So I'll be the point person on that. If you know anything, you hear anything, let me know, and we'll figure it out. But it's just we have a wonderful club, and part of it is just that we are here for each other, and that's just one way we can show that. So thank you.
Very nice, Tom. Just a reminder that the district conference will be held on May 3rd and 4th. And also a reminder that the board, some of you weren't here last week, but the board of directors approved an incentive for members who have never attended a District 6290 event. The incentive is $100 off of the cost of the $175 registration. Now, this will be in the form of a reimbursement, and so the club has made that incentive available to 10 members who register for the district conference. And when they do that, contact either myself or Christy Nagengast to let us know that you've done that, because it's basically on a first-come, first-served basis. At this time, I'm going to ask Dave to come forward.
On that district conference, I've been a Rotarian in 3 clubs since 1989. Grand Haven, Montague and Whitehall, and now Muskegon. And until really becoming second time on the Muskegon board about 3 years ago, I really had little idea, or quite truthfully, interest in Rotary International or District 6290. I was about Muskegon, right? But after being at last year's President's Training in Kalamazoo, Roger and I are heading off right after this meeting to do this year's event, and the district conference at Double J last year, I've drank the Kool-Aid, okay? There is a great Rotary world outside of our club. So please sign up for this. It is in Muskegon. It is May 3rd and 4th. Support Brianna Scott and mingle.
spending 3 days with Dave Alexander in Kalamazoo. Now I am committed to this club too. So, yes, I am, Andy. Yeah. So speaking of mingling, on your table, except for my table because I stole it, is a flyer, a reminder we are doing a joint service project with our friends in Grand Rapids. Dave and I were on a call with them earlier this week, and the bad news is they've got more people signed up than us. And they are a slightly smaller club than us. Well, they're smaller. Right now, we have about 10 people signed up, and they have 28. So we need to balance it. And I know people are looking at schedules. I've been talking to a couple members today, checking on kids' sports schedules, and I totally get that. We've got to get a final number to Kids Food Basket on Wednesday, I want to say the 26th or whatever. So it's a couple more weeks. We got some time, but there's a QR code here. It works. I tried it, even without my daughter doing it. So you can register on there. What it is it's on the 29th of March. We'll have an orientation at 9:30 a.m. at Kids Food Basket. Then we'll work from 9:30 to 11:30, and we'll work so hard that we've got to go to a bar and have some beverages and pizza and other great things at the Specialation Cellars, which is a short distance away on Wealthy Street in Grand Rapids. It's a great place. Meredith Smiley shared with me, one of her past colleagues and partner got it started. So that's an awesome connection to our club. So hope you all can make it March 29th. See you there. Thank you.
I think we're down to the last announcement, and it came forward on my phone. I'm not supposed to be watching my phone, but it came forward on my phone before the meeting started. A new Early Act Club is getting started at Campbell Elementary School in the Mona Shores District. Doug Wood, if you see Doug Wood, he's been actively engaged in making the arrangements for that. They've already have advisors that have been identified and are willing to serve in that capacity. It'll be a sister club to the Early Act Club that Kathy Brubaker Clark is the advisor for. Stand up a second, Kathy, yes. She's been the advisor this year and done a great job. So Mona Shores will have 2 Early Act clubs, and that will be along with the North Muskegon Early Act Club. So our group of Interact and Early Act clubs is expanding. So if you happen to know any children through family or friends that attend the Campbell School, it's for 5th graders. I don't know if that's 5th graders this year or 5th graders next year, but it encouraged those individuals to participate. My understanding is they have 18 students already registered, which is really a good number. So at this time, if I could call on Mary Beth for the raffle results. $5. 433. Welcome back, Marianne. $397. Jenny. $425. Congratulations, Darwin. Okay, next week's program will be the 2025 updates on key county initiatives and projects. Mark Eisenbarth will be the presenter. I'm sure that'll be interesting. Lots of things going on at the county. At this time, let's rise to recite the 4-way test. Of the things we think, say, or do, is it true? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned? Well, have a great week. Get adjusted to winter again.